realize that where I live is of no consequence to the clients. It's actually a benefit to me. Just that you can get the job done, and you can get the job done well. And if you're able to create a system that can replicate this job well done over and over again, then you'll be swimming in referrals, and you can finally streamline your marketing. So creating systems that replicate good work also means that when your freelancing coach says, do more marketing, and I'm not just talking about Upwork, you can put your boots on and hit the ground running, right? Another mindset shift I had to make was to realize that where I live is of no consequence to the clients. It's actually a benefit to me. So now my little motto is, life is grand when you're getting paid in dollars and living on the South African rand, right? I pay my taxes in rands. I pay my overheads in rands. I do everything except for pay my assistant in rands. And so I'm able to live very well in spite of my geographic location. And another shift, because there's many shifts, it's like a car, I had to make was thinking that I had to work 40 hours a week in order to live well. I have a law degree. I'm a certified forensic investigator. So all of this would not have been possible if I was working 40 hours a week and still taking care of my household chores and still taking care of my physical health and still taking care of my mental health. So I had to first take a chance and charge a fixed rate that terrified me, to be quite honest. And then a miraculous thing happened. The client accepted it. And then it dawned on me that the clients who are willing to pay for my skills and know-how and not for my time exist. And the highest compliment, to be quite honest, that I've ever received from a prospective client who is now a long-term client, when I highlighted during our walkthrough, when I gave them my welcome packet, for their specific niche, was that my rate is my rate and I don't need to justify it. When they said that, I thought, yup, this is my ideal client. And so it's been every now and then I'll slip up and have a moment of imposter syndrome, and then I'm like, no, hold on a second. We made $2,000 last week. Come on, let's get to work.
I think a lot of times we view the freelance market in a very US-centric way. And the truth is that you're living in South Africa, right? So your rates are probably considered quite high for a lot of freelancers who are in South Africa. And I'm sure that you confronted this mindset issue of, how do I claim quality over my rates and not have this be a race to the bottom or based on people's perceptions of hiring other freelancers in this market? Can you talk a little bit about how you dealt with that?
You know what, when you mentioned the fact that there are people who are living in countries like the Philippines or Indonesia who make up the bulk of, the virtual assisting or the freelancing industry, especially on Upwork, and how they're stuck accepting things like $8 an hour, $5 an hour, $10 an hour, I would say, for me, raising my rates has been gradual and nerve-wracking every single time as a person who comes from what's called an emerging market. So initially, when I came on Upwork, and I have actually shared a detailed article about this on my upcoming website, shameless plug, and I don't know whether I didn't know whether I was coming or going, right? My baseline in my mind was always $10 an hour or maybe $8 after Upwork fees. Then the next month I decided, it wasn't planned, but I decided to raise my rate to $12 because I wanted to take home $10. I was sick of this after Upwork fees, right? And this was the first time that I learned that I shouldn't be paying Upwork fees for my clients. That services fees should be included in my prices. And I think that's around in 2013, back when Upwork was still called Odesk, like I said. So a year went by and I was kind of chilling, I was really satisfied with this little $12 an hour and what it could do for me. And then things completely changed because I wanted to be a lawyer and I wanted to go to law school. So after doing the math, I realized that I would need to increase my rate to at least $15 an hour in order to pay for tuition and books. And I won't even mention transportation and utilities. Now, keep in mind, at the time, I was just a creative writer and a content creator. Right? I hadn't even invested in upskilling, and I wasn't even a certified copywriter. Well, needless to say, I put my boots on and I aggressively sent what Odesk used to call back then cover letters. Upwork now calls them proposals, right? And then I finally found someone that needed me to do business writing and ghostwriting for $15 an hour. And that person later turned into the wonderful long-term client, right? But when I signed on this client, I started to get the idea that maybe there really were people out there who were willing to pay me more than $10 an hour, irrespective, by the way, of where in the world I was based. Now, the caveat is, if you have any listeners who don't come from the US, the caveat is that because, and not in spite, because of where you're based, clients are almost always going to want to have some kind of a phone conversation with you to make sure that you can actually speak English fluently. Now, for someone like me who's introverted and has phone anxiety, believe it or not, I really do. I don't like it. It's genuinely not my favorite part about marketing, but it's what I have to do, so I do it. And once the prospect hears my voice, it's actually always funny to hear the sigh of relief through my headphones. Like, you'll hear them go, oh God, okay, she hears it, she gets it. Okay, we can work together.
Thank you so much for sharing all of this amazing insight on the show. I think it's very helpful for other freelancers to see how you've built your business and really customized a lot of the principles in the advanced freelance roadmap to be what you want your business to look like. So where can people go to learn a little more about you?
Well, actually, I'm building my website, but at the moment, your listeners can go to baleseng.co, which is BALESENG.co. And while they're waiting for my website to come up, they can grab a free copy of my workflow. This is the exact workflow that got me to my first 10K month, just for signing up. So that's BALESENG.co, baleseng.co. That's it. So what happens now? Once I become 7-figure, where do I go? Because is there an 8-figure coach? I'm not trying to go down. I want to maintain. If you've made it this far, stay tuned. Coming up next are scenes from the upcoming upload. All right, and the final step, you've made it this far, guys. You want to summarize what your clients' needs are as you've understood them. So clients are human. They want to know that you have heard them and they've been understood. So sometimes that means when you repeat back what they've requested, they remember, oh, I also wanted this. Oh, I also wanted the following. So it acts as a prompt for them to make sure that you're both on the same page. And a final thing I'd like to remind you of is your please and thank you. Clients love it when a freelancer says thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm so excited to hear what else you have to say. I'm looking forward to any other questions you might have for me. I can't wait to hear back from you again. Thanks again for reaching out. All of that will get you much further through the door than someone else who writes a generic proposal that they've created from a template.